Thanks for staying with us. So it's Celebrity Friday, and we like to find out what's going on in the celebrity world. So the next reality TV star, Whitemoney, was ranting or saying something on social media that caught our attention. He said that no woman is out of reach. Just make money. Create your own game. They'll play. Of course. It's International Women's Month. You dare not talk about women because everybody will just come at you like hawks. Yes, they went for him. Many people were really upset. Some found his remark very offensive and demeaning. Others says, reality. Is that not the truth? All you women, it's not, at the end of the day, it's not about money. What are your thoughts on this? Because some believe that we must find a way to stop the narrative that women are all about money. Others says there's no lie in that statement. Once you have the money, because experience have shown that at the end of it all, comfort is what a woman needs. What are your thoughts? You can call us on 081-270-53687, 091-390-76948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. You know, when we were young and dating, reading Mills and Boone, it was like falling in love, meeting this nice guy, or, you know, you can start together, can grow together. It doesn't have to be rich, just be good, godly person. We meet him, we fall in love, and we grow together, and we start a family together. When you're not finishing the marriage, you now realize all that together is nice, but when the bills start popping in, when the family demands come in, you realize that you now understand why money was such an important part of the conversation. When they say, women like money, just make money, because you're now faced with the reality. But in your view, do you think what he said was completely wrong, or it is actually still demeaning to women? What are your thoughts? Who would like to go, Mariam, or?
This your analogy now just reminded me of one of my friends who said when she was praying for her husband, she was specifically saying to God that she wanted a poor man. Yeah. But that was the mindset she had then. When you're poor, you are more holy. She wanted somebody who was God-fearing. So they equate it with being a poverty. You have to be poor to be holy. If you are rich, you're definitely evil or doing something shady and all that. And that was what she was praying for. And when she finally got the husband, and she started going through all the stress for them to meet some of their needs, she was like, BC, I wish I knew better. Shouldn't have prayed that way. It's not like I don't love my husband. It's not like we're not doing okay, but some things would have just been easier. You know, we started really rough, and there was a time I was now talking to God and like, why is my situation like this? That prayer came to my mind that this was what you wanted, right? So we need to be very careful what we wish for. But in answering your question, people make statements based on where they are at a particular time. He may go through life in certain ways and he would see different examples, and tomorrow the same person will come and say, it's not like this anymore. And that's why we should not take people's words as concrete and slate it. You know, it's written in rocks. It can never be clear. It's not the 10 commandments. It's just something you say, and people change, people evolve. So if you x-ray what I said about relationships back 10 years ago, I'm totally saying something different right now. You can't even place the two. Is this you? But you said this before. Now, why are you saying this? Because I'm growing. I'm evolving. I'm seeing life. And that's why when you don't like something somebody says on their page, can you just walk on by? I didn't like the fact that his mother was roped into it because an actor, you know, made a statement concerning what he said and said, that means your mother as well is also can be bought with money and something like that. And then he flipped. So that's where he is. That's what he's seeing. He started really poor. Now he's got money. And I'm sure those women who he was not able to reach before are now coming to him. And so that's form his perspective about issues like that. So whatever works for you. I personally believe that everybody has a price. Your price necessarily must not be money. Your price can be integrity. Your price can be morals. Everybody has a price. So you find a price, you are able to pay the price, and that woman comes to you. It doesn't necessarily have to be material things, financial or money.
Let me come to you guys. Mariam, who would like to go?
Okay. So I think, just as BC said, I pity the woman that hurt Whitemoney when he did not have money. that woman that caused all of us.
All this nonsense.
They said, this boy is the one that caused trouble because really, he's speaking from his own perspective and he cannot generalize. A lot of women, I remember when I was much younger, I had people who had good jobs asking me out. And when I say no, I say no. I had this particular person for 4 years. My auntie was pressuring me. This wickedness. I said, if I was going to date this person, it's the first day he asked me that I would have said yes. I don't waste time. And when I met my husband, the first time he asked me, I said yes. So I don't waste time. If I say no, it's a final no. There's no amount of wealth or change of status that I look back to. But I think that the truth is, we see them do some skits, maybe, this stage skit where they set up a person. And you'll see the girl switch. Because, the poverty is in the eyes, you can see, like I would say, Ojo Rolari kind of thing. When you finds out that the person she just looked down on can afford to change her life. Because a lot of girls are carrying the burden of their families. They just want to change it overnight. They don't care where the money is coming from. And so what he's saying is in some form true, because we know there are girls like that. But you cannot then generalize. There are some women who would rather work hard, and that the examples are many. Would rather work hard for their own money than, go back to somebody just because he's now wealthy. Some will say no to him because, for instance, he has a dread. I would not date someone with a dread. I never would have when I was a young girl. If you had a smoking habit, I smelt it one. If you were licking one sweet that used to quench the smell of, I would run away. I didn't want to end up with anybody with a drinking habit. I looked out for that, and you had to be an A student in class, and they looked CV. So people are looking for different things, and those of us who believe that somebody who had this sort of potential can amass any amount of wealth in his life will continue looking that way. So you cannot come and say that just make money. If you like, make the money that you cannot marry a nasty person, no matter how wealthy he is. So a lot of people have their different ways. And so women on the International Month, is this one head correct? Are we the kind of women in your life that are low-level girls who will take money for anything, and no matter what your behavior is?
Yeah. So as much as I find the statement offensive as well, I want to say that I understand where it may be coming from. And it's because I've also heard people advise young men, in advising young men to focus on their focus. You say, make this money. These women are everywhere. Once you make your money, they will chase you. So sometimes, when you make a statement without context, there are different ways it can be interpreted. So, but in this context that I'm talking about now, I see how we always tell young people, even I have my brother and my cousin, I tell them right now, face your work. These women, when you finish and you have become successful, you will see they'll be lined up for you. So if in that case, for me, I don't think it's such in that context, it's not such an offensive thing to say, But as they say, there are different kinds of conversations. There are conversations you have in the office. There are conversations you have in your bedroom. There are conversations you have outside. And when you want to have some conversation outside, be careful to make sure that you put it in the proper context. There are women who, like Nima and BC have said, there are women who have different standards and prices, or, whatever it is, or values. And for some people, and we use them even as examples, but we also laugh at some of them. So you have a young lady who has decided, yes, this man, obviously to the eyes of the world, this person is wealthy, has everything, but this girl has refused to be with him. And then she goes on to live her life marrying someone else. And then this person that has money will now use it to brag. Look at you now. See where you are. See where I am now. And everybody will be like, it's true. She must be so miserable looking at him and his new wife living the big life, and she is with this man who has nothing. So even us women, we have sort of demonized people who do not value money above other things. For us, that money should cover for everything. It should mean happiness. It should mean prosperity. It should mean that the husband loves you. But when our response to what he says sometimes also comes across as hypocritical, because when we are met with situations like this, how do we honestly respond? in our daily life with the people that we know? How do we honestly respond? Do we encourage our friend who is hanging out with two different individuals, and this one has money, will be like, is it not better to cry in a BMW than, you know, I'd rather be shopping with tears running down my face. We say these sort of things.
Yeah.
I do not think that every woman will pick money above, you know, other things or more valuable things. I think everyone has a price, but I also think that to be fair to him, there are different contexts in which we can look at that statement.
We're discussing Whitemoney's chat. You said something that I wanted to talk about a bit. I'll come back to you, Nima. Prayer for rich men or poor men. And it's something a lot of young people dating do these days, you know. When we're younger, I mean, I could relate to that statement because I remember I had a thing, I just didn't want to marry any rich man. I didn't want any rich person. Just, you know, I just wanted somebody we can start together because they make it look as if you have to be modest, you know, you don't want to look for that. You don't want to aspire yet. Let's grow together. Is that still relevant today? Is that something would you advise young people to continue to pray that prayer of modesty and not look for the rich guy? You know, we're always being careful on, we don't want kids to feel like it's all about material wealth and material satisfaction. It's more about growing together. Is that something we can still preach today, or things have changed? That you must look for satisfaction from the beginning?
Okay, for me, I did not pray for husband. I never sat down one day to say, God, give me a rich person or a poor person. I worked with my intuition, and I was looking out for specific things that I wanted in a man. I wanted a man who would love me, who would respect me, a man who would be ready to grow with me, because I knew that I had a lot in me that was seeking expression. Even at the time, I couldn't even define everything that I had. So I wanted a man who would hold my hand and go with me, and I would hold his hand and would think it through. I never sat down with any list to say, God, give me this, give me that, give me, because I believe that God has given me the logic to look out for what is best for me. And even when prayers started coming from family members, this is your husband, this is not your husband, I did not answer. I'm like the most stubborn child of my parents, both of them. I did not answer anybody. I was working with my intuition. So what I personally would advise young people is to look out, first of all, know what you want. And look out for what you want. And make sure that you are what you want so that you can attract it. So I won't have been looking for a man who would respect me and then I disrespect you, or I'm rude to you, or I don't know how to talk, or I have a lot of, you know, there are some people that have these heavy character flaws, and then I'm looking for Mr. Perfect. It's not going to work. So I started by fixing myself. I started by fixing who I was to be able to attract the person that will be like me so that we don't have issues. So for me, I never also looked at money, but I was particular about potential. Are you ready to put in the work? Because I know that with your head and my head, God will favor us. So if you are ready to put in the work, you are not lazy, you are not sagging. Like if you were sagging, you won't even come near me. You will wear your, at my age at the time, you wear your shirt, button your shirt, wear your trousers properly. If you need to put on your tie, you put on your tie. Like Nima said, you don't have the dreadlocks, you are not smoking. I was looking for those characters that will stand beyond money, because I knew that even if you don't make the money, me, I will make the money.
Right. Okay, let me take this call from Tunde. It's calling from Agodo. Good morning, Tunde. You're live. Oh, I'm so sorry for giving you.
Sorry about that.
Nima.
The statement you made about
Praying for.
So some of us prayed because we saw. So I had witnessed a couple, as a child, I think I was about 13, that, you know, the man just had money, but the woman just always used to stay in the shop. And the way he used to talk to her, I think it was the money. So I was just always praying that, give me somebody that will respect me, or that will start together, will build together, so I will earn his respect. Because me too, I wasn't going to be lazy, sitting around and allow somebody to talk at me like. So a lot of girls were in that phase where we thought anybody that have money will talk you down, will disrespect you. And so we're praying the opposite.
Yes.
And so you cannot come and think that it's about money. A lot of women, even today, in our own age range, we see women who put up with that thing, and I'm still grateful that, you know, I did not go that route. I cannot go and marry a nasty person just because he had money.
Let me take this call from Tunde. I'll come back to you. Tunde came back. Come on in, Tunde. You there? Hello, Tunde. You're live. Listen to the TV. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah.
You can't listen to the TV and talk to me at the same time. Please talk to me
I'm
directly.
enjoying your program. I'm first caller. But from your view that you're talking, most of the ladies nowadays are after money. In our younger days, is that you're a graduate or no, that you have a future and somebody just love you for what you have, not for money. But nowadays, you sit there, I can't suffer with a man, I'm ready for Surulere. I don't want alone we should go. So they're after money, no matter what you're doing, they don't care whether you're a ritualist or a Yahoo boy. What they want is comfort. They don't want to suffer at all, compared to our younger days. Nowadays, no social media, you see every one of them. You know, I want to buy Benz, I want to ride in the Ferrari, I want to ride in the Porsche. They don't want to ride in Okada. They said it's better to suffer in Dubai, it's better to cry in Dubai than to cry in Onitsha. So that's the aim thing for most of the young guys, young girls of nowadays.
Thank you, Tunde.
They're after money. That's why you see a lot of single mothers breaking down marriages and everything like that. Thank you very
Tunde,
much.
for your perspective. I think Tunde just brought us to the reality. Let's bring this conversation home to today. The truth is, what Tunde just says, that nobody, both male and female, don't want any liabilities. Even guys are looking for rich girls.
Yeah, these days.
Girls are looking for rich guys. Nobody wants to meals and boons. You start up gradually and you grow into love. Nobody wants to do that anymore. They want somebody who's got something. I mean, I think I've shared my story before with you guys. There's this guy in church when I was single, Brother Luke. I'll mention his name.
Oh, God of mercy.
Brother Luke came to marry me. And he was talking to me in church. You know, he has the normal, tall, dark, and handsome guy. He was cute, tall, you know, pretty nice. And so I used to respectfully talk to him, just, you know. And then he told me that he wanted to marry me. And I said, obviously, it's not going to happen. Of course, started stalking me. He now came to my house.
You didn't like him enough?
I just, you know, he was just a nice conversation. He's a brother in church now. You have a normal brother-sister talk.
Okay.
Anyway, because we come to the house, do fellowship and everything, so he now came to my house one day. I wanted to see my mom. He didn't come to see me, he came to see my mom. I sat down with him, follow. Tell my mom that he wants to marry me. I want to look at him. So, nice, no problem. Where do you work? I don't have a job. Okay. Where do you, what's your area? What do you plan? Maybe we can even link your, says ministry. Okay.
Yeah.
No problem. So, if you now marry my daughter, how do you plan to
feed her?
To care for her? He said, God will provide. My mother had God will provide. I said, okay, thank you very much.
We shall get back to you.
Come and be good.
You know, so then, even at that time, I was also going to marry somebody who just tell me
Ministry.
It's not, ministry isn't a bad thing, but just not having an idea, the area where you're going to.
You get idea now, ministry.
Ministry is a calling, it's not a job.
So may I?
Yeah.
So as much as we see a lot of this, we hear a lot of these stories or see a lot of these videos on social media about girls who just want money, however they want the money. There are girls who are not like that. I remember growing up, as a young girl growing up in Jos, you would hear about Lagos girls. Lagos girls were seen to be, their eye don't tear, is what they used to describe them. And they wanted material things. And, you know, would hear then our much older siblings or aunties and uncles would be saying, if you're going to go and get married, don't go and marry a Lagos girl. In fact, we even knew people who dated Lagos girls that we thought were, that we now heard at the end that uncle decided to marry someone so different. We're like, what is that? When the mother heard it was a Lagos girl, so there were other girls. And so like now, social media is highlighting those girls. That does not mean that there's a shortage of girls that are not, you know, that are like, that are not into wealth, no matter how it comes in, you know. It's not every girl that wants to be with, there are decent girls. Not every girl that wants to be with a Yahoo man. It's not every girl that thinks that with money is better than any other thing or money is better than peace of mind, or money is better than honesty and integrity. There's so many girls like that. I mean, we are surrounded by those girls, our younger ones. We are surrounded by so many of them. They just want a decent guy. In fact, when they come home and they tell you, dating is hard these days. These guys, all they want to talk about is what they are driving, where they are going, you know. I'm looking for a decent man. So even the girls think that the men have put things that are, you know, not of importance ahead, you know, and have put money or
above morals.
You know, above morals.
Let me take Engineer Ibrahim. I'll come back to you, Miriam. Engineer Ibrahim is holding. Good morning, are you there?
Good morning.
You're live.
Everyone.
Go ahead, please.
Actually, what Whitemoney said, you know, I think it's coming from kind of mindset it's coming from, and maybe the interaction he has had. You know, today when we look at our society, we value money more. Not just, you know, even the older ones. You know, when you have your younger ones that have money, they will respect that person more than the person that is even more honest, more upright, more religious. Even our traditional people, you know, when they want to give titles, they give titles to those people who have money. I'm not seeing them giving titles to somebody that has a lot of virtues, truthfulness, uprightness. No. So it's what our society has become. You know, it's not just for the women, you know, even guys to guys. You know, people respect people who have money more. So unfortunately that our values have dropped, you know, drastically. Maybe we need to rebuild, you know, maybe from schools, you know, as they're growing up, maybe we need to inculcate some values.
All right.
More.
Thank you very much, Engineer Ibrahim.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Miriam.
Yes, I was just also remembering a long time ago when, especially like in the north, when it will be that, when it was a thing to marry off your child, you know, to someone, and you would hear them, they're marrying her off to this much older, richer man, but she's in love with this young, poor teacher. This use teachers a lot, you know, a teacher, and this is the person she wants to be with, and you see the girl fighting tooth and nail. That's where you hear the words, or as if it's not you, I'm falling into a well, you know. Then there were people, until now, there are people who would choose their emotions, their, you know, similarities. You know,
you guys have answered my question.
Which is?
Okay, you're talking about praying for poverty.
No, we'll come back to the praying part, because when you said something now, there is the reality. At one moment, you are in love. That little girl loves that young man that they met in university. They laugh together, they play together. Everything is perfect. However, when that young girl enters the marriage with this person, who is also trying to build up, it might take a few years, 5 years, they're still struggling, and things are difficult. And then she's taking her mind back to when she was in university, when this rich guy was coming, bugging her. He had a house, and he was willing to marry her. She's now thinking, maybe I overrated this love. Maybe I should have just gone for satisfaction and comfort, where even if you are not lovey-dovey like this, my lover boy,
but I'm
at least
comfortable.
I have a house, I have a car, I have help, and I have children I'm raising. They're going to the best schools. I'm in the nice social circle. I'm moving out. I'm hanging out. I'm traveling in and out. If you like, have 20 girlfriends, that's your business. I'm okay. So that's the conversation. Like, are we saying?
So what I've heard
yes,
you, but what I've heard that analogy, and what I will say to you is that they say, when they tell you that the grass is always greener on the other side, that's what happens. We have seen people who got all that, who decided, I will go with the man that has the house, the comfortable lifestyle, and they're looking at someone else who didn't go their way, and they're like, but see how he holds her hands when they walk in public. See, he has her time. Do you know they sit down and have dinner together? I can't remember the last time I saw my husband because he's so busy making the money. We do that. But the truth is that we highlight this side. We highlight the people who are struggling. And we sometimes...
Forget that they might be lonely.
Good.
Where they are.
And then many people, when we see people who are not doing as well as us, or we see people who are doing much better than us, we don't want to take in the whole scenario. We find it hard to believe that people who are not doing as well can be happy and content and actually be amazed at the life that they have. And actually look at your life and think, I don't really quite like your life. You may have a lot of money, but that's all you have, you know. And then someone who is living that life to me look, I'm like, how is she happy? when she's not able to travel every year, when she's not able to have these clothes and have these shoes.
So we
and
see those things, we filter it through our own lives and perspectives.
But we have people that are living decent, comfortable lives and they're happy. Where I see a lot of unhappiness really, and it cuts across board, rich or poor, is when there's no unity in the home. The poor couple or the rich couple is always, oh, he's not there or she's not there. I don't think that we're working together. I don't think that he listens to me or she listens to me. Even when they have issues with, people will say, but the bills will come. Yeah. But usually you hear the conversation of the bills. If the person is, oh, he's doing his part. I've seen what he has done. We are putting money aside. I see people who are struggling like, my husband, thank God he got this money today. We put this money aside. It's when you feel like you are not part of this. It's not a team. Right. We are suffering. I don't know why we are suffering. We are not making money. I don't know why we are not making money. So those are things that cause
Johnson from Alagbole, YK is here. Good morning, Johnson.
Hello.
How is YK doing this morning?
You can do. I'm enjoying your program.
Go ahead, you're live. I'm just joking.
Yeah. The point is, our problem is the moral system of the society is totally gone. And when the basis of any society is gone, you can see that anything goes. Let me tell you, it is not peculiar to ladies alone. There are ladies after money. There are men that are after money, just like Engineer Ibrahim said the other time. But the problem is that most of our youth today, I don't want to streamline it to ladies alone. Most of our youth today, they don't want to labor for anything, as in anything at all. What they are after is enjoyment of life, both male and female. Look at, if you search your heart very well, all of us here, you see that before you have the certificate you are holding today, you know how you burn candles. You know what to go, but go to schools. Nobody want to labor for anything, just for free. They are just looking for quick way to out of the problem. That is it. So go and make your money. It's not every lady that's after money. Likewise, not every man that's after money. But what is that thing that you are carrying? What value are you adding to me? That is the question the genuine ones will ask.
Thank you very much, Johnson. I'm going to go on a break. When we come back, is there anything wrong? You just want
That's
to
the question.
Life?
There's nothing.
I don't even want to.
That's the question.
I just want somebody who can just care for me. So before the break, we're discussing: is there anything wrong in a young woman saying, "I want to marry rich"? I'm not interested in those guys earning 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 a month. I'm looking for the big guys, 5 million and above, 10 million a month. This kind of guy I'm looking for. Is there anything wrong in a young girl just aspiring? Yes,
ambitious.
Every side, being ambitious, saying that both poor and rich, there's good and bad. There are pros and cons in each decision. And I'm willing to accept the cons of the being rich, but I'd rather there. Is there anything wrong in that? Nima?
Waiting.
Okay, nothing wrong.
Oh, Sugar, hold on a second. I have a call from Bo. She's been holding for a while. Tokumbo, are you still there? Oh, I'm so sorry. I figured he would have come by now. So sorry, Tokumbo.
There's nothing wrong in being ambitious, but I would also like it because at the time we were in primary school, thank God I went to an all-girls school. Primary school, they were already teaching us girls' worth, dignity, knowing your self-worth and all of those things. So I grew up knowing what I cannot take. I don't want to grow up and be confused. And even from the times of the Prophet ﷺ, men and women, in fact, men were marrying women for wealth, family lineage, connection, and then religion. Because there are 4 reasons why a man should choose a woman in Islam. And one of them is, wealth, family lineage, and all of that. And so men have always been pitching women for money from time immemorial. Women too do the same, maybe for the soft life. But if you can't Miss Jam, what happens? That's why I wanted to answer when you asked the question that the girl is now looking back. That is a girl that wasn't raised resilient. A resilient person, you don't have any business looking back. Whatever situation you find yourself, you want to do your part to change it. God forbid that you are alone in your marriage. But if you are together with someone in your marriage, of course, anything good can come from wherever you start. So there's no point looking back to one.
Let me take Daya from K2. Good morning, Daya. Are you there? Good morning, Daya from K2. You're live.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. My contribution is this. I think beyond this issue of money, you know, most of the time when a young lady brings a young man home, just like you, Morayo said, your mom asked, "What is this guy doing?" You see, most of the time, money is proof in the African context that a man has actually succeeded and that is adding value to society. Now, not as if that money is the main purpose, but that at least is adding value to himself, is moving high on his career ladder, and is able to at least, we can see that, okay, this person is doing well, beyond the Yahoo and the whatever we are seeing now. Because people have demonized the issue of money, as if money does not matter in one's journey in life. Now, let me say this, as I just round up. Now, for me, you never know a man's true character, whether man or woman, until the issue of money comes in. Now, I have seen people that you can call them poor or low class, and yet I've seen arrogance, I've seen pride, I've seen all the sorts manifest in their lives. And you see people also that are rich, yet they are proud, they are arrogant. So you see that these character traits cut across board, irrespective of the issue of money. But you never know a man's true character until money comes in. Now, for me, if you have not handled money, you are not ready for life. Money for me is the proof that the person I'm dealing with is the right person I need to deal with. Now, if I have a daughter, I want to see, okay, you claim you can handle my daughter. Have you handled money? A man that has not handled money, of the truth, you really don't know him. And I've tested that. You really don't know him.
I agree.
Fantastic. Thank you,
Are
Dad.
you?
That's a very important point.
I agree with him.
You're talking,
Yeah.
I'll come to you, BC, in a minute, because when he was talking, I remember that when you said something about not having a list. I had a list compared to you. My list was number 5 items on my list. And everything I wanted on that list, God answered except for the skin color. I wanted a tall, dark, and handsome. God gave me fair skin and handsome. But aside from that...
And it's handsome this, Anna.
But I was so specific that I even wanted somebody that went to Ife. The university, I said, Father, I want somebody that went to Ife because I heard that those guys born and raised in university, the quarters boys, they are well-grounded, they have family, they're decent, they're not So I had a list. I wanted somebody who was educated, preferably a lawyer. I mean, my list was very, very detailed. And exactly as I wanted it, I took it to God. And I got exactly that. So it's not about money. Because even my husband, at the time I got married to my husband, he didn't have a job. So it wasn't about money. It was the fact, at that time, he had worked in an oil company. The oil company folded up. He didn't have a job for like a year. And it was just, I knew he was educated. Yeah. He could speak. This is a man that can pick up the pieces of his life and build. And so it's not always about money. And it's always important that people understand that we're not saying you shouldn't marry money if you do choose to marry money. But what Dayo said is really important. A man's character, you will not receive the realness until money is involved. So it lets him have a small cash. And then you see
the real character. Okay, so one of the reasons why you would say some of us at the time were a bit more content was because our parents instilled the morals, integrity, hard work in us, and they provided for our basic needs averagely, right? So at the time when the university, we didn't have any need to pay our own school fees. My father funded me all through till I left school. So I didn't have any need to go and hustle outside to be able to pay my fees. So I was content. And when you get a child who is content, who you have provided averagely for, their mind is focused on other things. Okay, let me read my books and pass my exams. Okay, I have a talent I can pursue and all that. They are not focused on money. So I spoke to a young girl recently. I remember those days when we finished school and want to go and do volunteer work. You know, your parents will even give you transport fare to go and come back. They'll give you lunch money. They'll give you money for your hair and all that. I experienced all of those. But then once I saw, come and do volunteer work, the way they are billing me, I had to have a conversation with one person, a young girl. She was 22. And I said, how is your family like? And they have a very big house in Lagos here. He said she fends for herself. She actually pays her school fees with all this hustle she's doing. Not because the parents don't have, but it was a mindset in which they operated in the house that once you are of age, you fend for yourself. She buys her provisions in the house. Now, when you ask that girl to pick a man that she wants, what do you think she wants? She wants somebody who will give her security because she's already doing some things that her parents could have handled till she finally settles. And that is the average mentality of most of the girls out there. So you wouldn't blame them. Another thing I say is we married quite early to some extent, right? And if I was getting married now, let's take, for instance, I'm not married. You think I'll be looking for somebody I want to start with close to 40? I won't do that. I'll look for someone who has security. Because the truth is, our needs grow with us. Different levels beget different needs. So the way I would have reasoned for love and morals and everything at the age of 20, I won't be reasoning love and moral. And I love and moral I want chop. When I don't near 40, where I go bump picking. You know, we have to start thinking of saving school fees and all of that. I would want a man who is at a certain level to match me. However, the final question that you asked, hold on please, let me just quickly finish this before I lose it. The final question you asked, which is it okay or is it okay to
Want wealth.
To want wealth? Our needs are valid. Your needs, your wants are valid. However, when you pick a need and pick a want, you must stick with the consequences. So don't pick it and then look back and say, I wish I did the one that Miriam did, or I did the one that Nima did. Stay with your consequences. If it's money that you want, pick your money and stay there. Whatever comes out of it, swallow it. You have made your choice.
Let me take this call from Julius, calling from Spain. Good morning, Julius. Are you there?
Sorry, Julius.
Here's Spanish
Yes,
girl,
I'm here. Good morning.
Live. Go ahead.
Yes, you know, the mentality of people will always depend on where they grow.
Yeah.
Your point of view will always come from your viewpoint.
Yeah.
So this young man, what he has as his wealth, might not be able to buy the jewelry of the former richest woman in the world, which is from this very nation. We have our ladies, our mothers who are head of World Bank and the rest. So he grew up in some area that he cannot make mention of. There are thousands of women who are richer than him in this nation. However, the time has come, really. I'm happy that many women are growing up and coming up, getting their personal wealth and be able to become who they are on earth. The way it is with men, that is how it is with women. They are looking for wealth where they did not even plan. So I really like what people are talking about, and I just pray that our young men and women will not continue with this low mentality and generalizing all the women and putting them in a very small pocket.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Julius. Thank you very much, Julius. Something that you said, the fact that young women today are working. A lot of them have good jobs. They are hustling. And they've built their confidence and a bit of resilience through life. And now they're ready to settle down. So a lot of men, unfortunately, many of their counterparts haven't done the same.
Yeah.
Some of them are still taking handouts from their parents. Some of them are still depending on daddy to hand over stuff to me. Some of them have not built a business to that level. So when a young girl who has learned to hustle all her life and she's 25 and she's doing well, wants to get married, she doesn't want to marry somebody that's just
loafing around.
So the circumstances are different and have changed, and I think it's another conversation we should have.
Yeah.
That men should also understand that the women you're going to get meet these days are not
the women of before.
They are not the women of before. You have to know your word.
To your type.
Okay, so
you might not want a strong woman who is that is doing well, and you go to the one that you think your money will change her mind in 20 years. So I think Whitemoney is dating.
No, so you also said something about, let's go back to the topic of wanting a rich man. You know, if there's anything wrong in that, or setting your sights only on those who have a certain kind of money. As you know, rich is subjective. Some people's rich is another person's poor. But I think the problem with that, the only problem with that is you're chasing wealth only that you are willing to compromise on things that you should not compromise on. So that's, I want to marry a rich man and I don't care how he makes this money. He could be a Yahoo boy, he could be a drug dealer, but he's rich, and so I don't care. He's violent, I see how violent he is. He even has cases in the police for his domestic violence or he's a sexual abuser or offender, those sort of things, only because I want to marry a rich man or I want to marry a rich woman. I don't care what other parts of his character is flawed. That is the problem with setting your sights on a rich man. Now, about the woman that you have just described, who has worked so hard, and she started early. And she has worked, she has built this character. Everybody knows that she's determined. The word we like to use a lot here in Nigeria, she's a hustler, legitimately. She's now a like premium person, premium brand. So the sort of person that would appeal to her has to be premium brand, who understands hard work, who understands getting up and being determined and working. And sometimes these girls can even see, like, yes, this person's money has not entered yet, but I can see all the things that he has put in place. This is the sort of person that understands my struggles, understands where I'm headed, and we can do this together. Because what happens is, if you're such a go-getter and you're doing this, and then you meet someone who is not that way inclined, no matter how much that person loves you, when you get married, you think that they're trying to pull you down, and the other person thinks you're moving too fast. What is it? What is it about this world that you want everything, everything? But that's not it. It's just, this is who I've always been. I set my sights on something. I work hard. I earn it. You like to just, as it goes, that doesn't mean that one person is good or one person is bad. It's just that you're not that sort of person. So we also, as Nima said, marry our kind or attract our kind.
We just talked about the issue of young people falling in love with people who are rich compared to those who want to start from ground up. I saw a message that I thought we could link just this second from, I think it's ESP, the police, the Darako Badman. She said, be careful of having dealings with people that can be viewed to be less privileged than you are. When they cry foul, they always win. Keep your dealings pure with all men. They will not fall victim as a result of being a big man. I wanted to link this to the death of the couple recently. They were killed by their driver, 5,000 pounds. Recently, it was really painful that they were practically traveling to, they were going to go abroad. You didn't see that story?
No.
The older couple, they were planning to travel abroad, and their driver killed them because they wanted to collect 5,000 pounds from them. And these are some of the stories, and based on when I saw this message, it now clicked, because when you're working with certain people, no matter what you say, you are wrong. And we can actually look at it in different ways, even in marriage. It clicked. Even in marriage, because bringing it back to our initial conversation, no matter what, once you're marrying somebody at that level, no matter what happens, any friction that happens, is it because your father? Is it because I brought you from? Is it because I am poor? Is it because,
that's why you're looking down on me?
So there's always that issue. So going by that, do we therefore encourage people to marry within their own circles?
That's the best. Morayo, back in the days when we have people who would, like royalty, for instance, go and fall in love with maybe a peasant. Now bring the person to the house. And then the royals are saying, no, we don't marry down. We don't marry down. They say when an adult sees something sitting down, even if a child stands on top of the tree, he will not see it. They have seen that when there's that class difference, there's always something at the subconscious mind of the lower class who would always feel very entitled, and there is nothing you do that would ever please them. And I have had personal experiences with some people who I've worked with. There is nothing you do for them that will satisfy them, because the mindset is, well, you have more now. You have more now. So what I do in this case, so aside from the marriage thing, now what I do when I engage with people like that is to very early manage their expectations, help them manage their expectations. So when you come with, something is happening and you need help from me, it's not because I've given before without thinking and it has burnt me, because I hear stories like, she's just being stingy, And then everybody's just expecting that anytime they open their mouth, and you know, there's one back. Should have seen that tree in my house where we pluck money.
I know that tree.
You know the tree.
I took a leaf.
Yeah, we just go and pluck and give to them. And when you don't respond to them on time, they have an attitude problem, and you start hearing stories. So from very early, even when I have it, and I know that I want to give it to you, experience has taught me to slow down and help you manage your expectations. See, understand that I am working, salary has not come, I don't have that much, even if I have it. Because I want to manage it in such a way that you don't start getting entitled. And that's how it happens in relationship where you marry beneath your class. The family of the person you have married have seen you as their messiah. And if care is not taken, they will use black tax to pull you down. It has happened to a family
Even on the
member.
part of the rich, they also look down because they are constantly reminding them that maybe I brought you out from somewhere. They'll continually remind, because it's both sides. Though the poor might feel entitled that, you have. Some rich folks will also say, I brought you from nothing. And because of that, you are enslaved to me forever. Your entire family, your father cannot come here and be sitting on my chair. What is that? Let him sit.
Hey,
back.
that's
some people.
Persons,
So
Now,
talking
We're
about
talking about
personalities.
individuals' innate, his own personality, his own nature as a person. If his person is one who looks down, if you like, let him look. He will look down.
Yeah.
You know, in that our estate, there's some people that we are all living in three bedroom flats. All of us, we are equal. It's low cost housing estate. We are contained low cost. But some people will be looking down as if their own flat has an extra duplex.
He did somewhere.
It is somewhere. So a look down person will be looking down.
Whether
What
you're
is
rich or
important is that no matter, it's good to marry within your class and status. Those are things have been explained over time for people to understand. But what I understand is that it depends on the person you marry. It's seriously, sometimes we'll have some arguments at home. And my husband will be like, he thinks that because of the way I advise women, money is an issue. So, Nima money must not miss. I don't even want you to borrow me money. Don't even give me money. Don't even shake any come for me. Later on, I'm saying over 10 years for him to see that whenever money is an issue, I step out. The way I was raised, my parents would say, don't fight
over money. My face.
If the money is not settling the thing, it's devil. The person is not agreeing, they owe you, or they don't want to pay your salary. My sister went to fight a couple. She worked for 3 months. They were saying, no money yet. And then they suddenly sacked her. She left my parents and went to fight. And when they heard of it, they were like, in this house, never again should such a thing happen. Because if she had one thing had led to another, she might be in jail.
Yeah.
And so the way we were raised, I don't drag money issue with my husband. And he'll be like, I know. He doesn't believe it because he thinks that the kind of strong girl that I marry, if one kobo miss, she will not miss it. So sometimes it's the person you're dealing with and your generalization. Some people are big in their mind. They don't reach anything, but in their mind, they are so big. In their small space, one room per apartment, they are big
the
in their
chairman.
mind.
In fact, let me take this call. Peace, I believe, from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Peace. You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, hello. Thank you very much. In a way, I will agree with Whitemoney. Why will I agree with him? Because we have 2 groups of girls. I'm saying this from experience. 2 groups of girls. There are some girls, they made up their mind to marry a man who doesn't have anything so that they will grow up together. Then we have another group of girls, they don't want to suffer. They want a ready-made man who will pamper them with money. That's what Whitemoney is saying. Yeah. My experience is that when I was growing up, I made up my mind to struggle with my husband. I married my husband when he didn't even have a house. I was in my mother's house, and she was in his father's house. And I struggled with it. I did all sorts. Even as a graduate, I was selling periwinkle, buying periwinkle, freezing it, selling to help the family. But when, at the time I was expecting to enjoy, a girl came that she has got a baby for him, which is certainly till today. But now, these other girls that are looking for money, they are like this white, they are the type of white.
And the people white money.
Let me say something, please. I'm so excited to say something about this. When she started saying, how she made the decision to struggle with her man. Let us also ask the man, is he willing, when he starts blowing, to blow with you? There are some men that they will get struggle wives. They call them starter wives. They are the ones supposed to be there when they are laying foundation. When it's time to do housewarming, you may not be there. So we need to have a conversation. Yeah. This thing, that's life. There's just not one rule for anything. You just hope that whatever you do it for yourself. Be confident that this is your choice. So the good and the bad, you take it calmly. Now we're talking about these people who marrying maybe beneath your class or above your class. I agree with Nima. I don't really like the generalization because it's about values. There are some people who have so much money and they have values. Let me remind us of the story of that Gokada guy, the owner of Gokada that was murdered by his PA. So remember the story is that the PA had stolen money from his boss, and the boss found out that he was the one because he's a very rich young man, and he decided to handle it with kindness. So he said to him, pay this money back. Another person that would have locked him up because it was a lot of money. Money was siphoning over time. And what was he doing with it? Just dressing up and looking good for the gram. And this man decided to handle it with kindness and says, okay, you will pay this money in installments. But, not stopping his salary, will take it out so that it's easy and easier for you to manage. This boy, this PA, went behind and killed this man after all the kindness that this man has shown him. So that's the situation you're talking about. So in this case, this is a man of wealth and of means who has decided to show kindness to someone who doesn't have anything. But that person in his poverty, that we always describe as poor people who are nicer or kinder, showed his wickedness, he showed his lack of gratitude, showed his entitlement in the way he handled this. So it's about personal behavior, it's about integrity, it's about honesty, it's about kindness, whether you're rich or you're poor. If you're kind and honest in little, you'll be kind and honest in big. There are people who have gotten married to, of course, different classes, and they have sort of integrated because there's proper decency in that relationship. They understand respect of each other's values, and they understand that money, they understand that the only thing that they have different is money. Money does not mean happiness. Money does not mean good behavior. There are so many things that we have, and money is just one thing. Money is just material wealth. That's just money. That's what money does. And you can have it and not have it, and still be a good person or a bad person.
Abosede, thanks for calling. Sorry for keeping you. Are you there?
Sorry. So I wanted to respond to the generalization that, women of the past, women of nowadays. In our mother's times, there were those who thought, I can never come and suffer. You know that there's a Yoruba word they used to call one-story building. In those days, women would be saying, thank you. Do you know that his father's house is that upstairs building? She wants to marry him. She's saying, I cannot marry the one whose father's house. There were such insults in the Yoruba books I read in just 3, such description. So women and men have been materialistic forever.
Yeah.
And they've chosen and be deliberate. It's not now. It's always the person, whatever time and generation and how they see and they view life. So even in those days, they were still compelling, parents were compulsorily training their daughters to not prioritize materialism in their choices and doing the same for their boys. Some will say, those city girls, their eye don't hear, they are very materialistic. So don't go there. There's in the East, they will say, don't marry your nature girls. So
funny story.
And all of those things.
My husband's family want them not to marry Lagos girls. All of them marry Lagos.
Are you kidding?
All 4 children married Lagos. All their spouses are Lagos.
But even you're not the Lagos. That's our parents were talking about.
Yeah, no, follow.
No.
That Lagos we're talking about.
There's a city girl well exposed. I have one of my mother's friends. I know she's watching. Let me not call name. She's watching. This woman traveled to London in those days and thought that whenever she was like, are you all right? There was a way she used to address. Any other time my mother needs big English to correct me. She said, that my daughter, she will pass now, she'll soon pass. She's the one that was speaking English that was scatter my head. It was one visit to London. I don't remember any other one.
Yeah, in trouble with her.
I'm sure my phone will be ringing before the end of the show. I used to use her. We used to call her a tailor that uses glasses. She will sit down, posh. And she always has a nice dress. She's very exposed from the southern, all the southern major cities, not be only Lagos. She's very well exposed. And the woman always carried herself. So that was the impression of city girls, not the Lagos as in the tribe.
No,
it was
Lagos.
Exposure.
That's what they meant.
That's the materialism that comes with it. The girl will believe.
The exposure that my father-in-law also was scared of is that Lagos girls, that they can marry 4 or 5 husbands.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, okay.
you know,
Every
and it was
tribe
very
has
many,
certain.
So they have, but back then, I mean, I remember, let me not say this, but I know people that have married, I know a lot of aunties.
Yeah, that have married 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So you won't blame them.
So it's
So the
always
thing
like
is,
that.
it's usually safer to stay within your class because then you are not particularly worried about or being afraid of having certain conversations because the other party will feel looked down on. Your conversations are at par.
Yeah.
So we are, okay, I did my visit to Paris for the summer and you did yours in this. Our conversation are on one level. Now, when you go down, I'm just trying to tell you a few of the mindsets. When you go down to someone and then you are having a normal conversation, I did this, I did that, and the person is feeling like maybe they are trying to rub it on me that I cannot enter plane and all of that. So sometimes it's just parents trying to preserve, you know, their children from making some mistakes. And we have seen examples of, you know, people who are down trying to, not like they intentionally want to pull you down, but because of the needs and wants that, you know, keep draining you, you end up falling flat to their level and they will still insult you later that you were not able to hold your own. So if, for instance, now we are getting to, okay, middle class. Let's take, for instance, we're middle class. You wouldn't want your child to go down to where if we have to come and visit you, we are the ones giving you money to clear your road, to do your house, so that it's a bit presentable for my friends that are coming. We want you to give. If you want to do marriage, you don't forget say when you want to do marriage from village. No, listen now. You don't forget say a lot of people when they want to do marriage in their villages, they have to renovate their house. They have to do this and do that.
Everybody does it.
Because not everybody that does it. There are people you are married to. They are just okay. It doesn't matter to them. Do you understand? But there are some people that, at least I'm bringing my friends that are CEOs and everything to where my child is getting married to and let it look a bit, you know? So it's safer to stay within your level. If we're poor together, we will work towards getting out of that poverty.
You know, let me give you my bit of story. When I came back home, the few friends I knew back then were friends of a certain class. And I went back to that circle. And I realized I didn't fit in anymore. And I knew that even because I didn't fit that, I felt that I'm not here. I'm not where these people are now.
Why?
No, because I just felt that
They had left you behind?
No. They've gone far ahead at the time, and I just felt that I'm just not in the conversations they're having, going traveling.
Going over your head.
I'm not there.
Yeah.
I'm back home now. I'm trying to hustle my way up. My parents are not. When I left Nigeria as a middle class, I came back. My parents, the community I was middle class, has come down to. So I'm not there yet. So I had to remove myself. I took myself to a different level. So, you know what? Let me stay where I am first. Let me build my way up myself. When I build, you will know me. And I didn't want to get married in that circle either because I didn't want to feel inferior. I don't want to feel like I'm marrying. I wanted to just stay where I believe that I can build myself back up again to a certain level.
You told yourself the truth.
I told myself that truth. I had to leave that circle.
So that's the way you decided to handle it, right? We see this conversation of class. I always want to find out, I like to know how people describe it or see it. For me, I don't think class is just about money. It has to be, it's about the circumstances of your birth and your nurturing and your education. Those are the things that make up your class. So if I am educated in a certain way with you and it just so happens that my money has dropped, I don't see that you're a higher class than I am. I just realized that we're in the same class, but you have more money. I was raised in such a, I was raised with very little.
What? I'm sorry, we have to run out of time.
No way. We're just starting this conversation.
We run out of time, but it's a conversation we can pick up on that time.
Yes.
That's all we can take on today's show. Have a great weekend.
How are you the quarter now?